It's a David and Goliath story.
I call us elephants and mice.
Richard Childress Racing, Rick Hendrick, Jack Roush, Joe Gibb Racing. They can go and spend whatever they need to in order to go faster.
Denny Hamlin, oh my goodness.
We're able to go after one of the bigger teams.
The BK car's having a strong day.
With a quarter of the budget.
All right, have a good run, okay? We say we're not afraid of them. We look forward to competing with them.
I love what Ron and those guys are doing at BK Racing.
It can be done.
And I like David Reagan in that 23 car.
And it will be done. We're talking about that much of a gap.
Don't get those guys in front of you. You're better than them.
Matt DiBenedetto on track to score his best career finish.
This is like a win for us.
I know that they support me 100%.
We're in the highest form of motorsports in North America. One, you got to act like it, and two, you got to respect it. We are BK Racing, and you're not going to walk on us. We're going to compete with you.
This is Driven, BK Racing, Slaying the Giant. Presented by your local Toyota dealers.
After 15 years of marketing in the Burger King system, I looked at NASCAR as a marketing opportunity, and it's the best. So I wanted to be a part of that. And then after that, Red Bull was leaving, and so it gave us an opportunity to acquire their assets, and that's really what started BK Racing.
You know, Ron Devine had a vision, and he came into the sport several years ago. He's fought and slogged his way, been very persistent.
If I'd have known it was this hard, I probably would have taken a slower run at it, but you know, because it is tough.
You are competing at the very highest level in motorsports anywhere.
There are these monster companies that have just been around and grown and grown and grown.
If you look back at the early years of Hendrick or Richard Childress Racing or Joe Gibbs Racing, there were some very early years of learning before they saw material success.
It gives me great hope to hear Rick Hendrick tell his story about how he started and where he was and then where he grew to, and then watch even Joe go from a small team to become a large team. I mean, it's very doable, but we're up for the challenge and we'll keep at it. I see you on the camera all the time. You know, the camera's right there, so I see more of you than anything else.
I bet you do.
How long you been with me, Steve?
Forever. Since the beginning.
It just feels like forever. He started 3 weeks ago. I do have some employees that have been around for 4 and 5 years, and you know, I think they still see the vision that we have and see where we're headed. We've been together since the 71 days, and we're going to turn this place into something, right?
Oh, we already have.
It's all about being able to attract talent, be able to hang on to the talent, and that's another place that's very difficult for the smaller teams. But it's one of the evolutions of our company. So we added Doug Fritz, you know, big name inside of NASCAR, and so we added Doug to help us run the business side of this. And then I've got Ryan Dubois, they call him Frenchie. You know, he's our general manager, and so he's got a lot on his shoulders as this thing is evolving. But, you know, that executive team, if you would, is a core of people that are going to help pull this thing together.
As Ron solidified the front office staff, he also improved the on-track performance by signing veteran driver David Reagan and purchasing a newer, faster fleet of cars from Michael Waltrip Racing.
We felt up until this point we were learning the sport. We spent a lot of time in the off-season, put a lot of effort and resources into taking that next step and advance to the level we want to be.
You know, the Waltrip purchase was important to us because now we can duplicate and build those cars that are heavily engineered, and it kind of leapfrogged us forward in the engineering side. Now we have to stay there.
A monumental change in NASCAR was another boost to BK Racing. A charter system guaranteeing 36 positions gave them 2 starting spots each weekend.
And so they come to the track prepared a little bit differently. Before, it might have been with a strict focus on just making the show and having the cars make the show. Now they're coming out a little bit more prepared to get ready for the race versus just making the event.
The other change, I think, inside of our company is the teams are working together now more as a single unit. We're more like a company with 2 teams as opposed to 2 teams inside of a company.
And we want to be a contender. We want people to expect to race with us.
When you group together and make a commitment like the team has, all those things are what have kind of taken us to the next level.
Ron has proven in 5 years that we deserve to be here. We can compete at this level.
and we're here to stay. If we're internally know that we're making progress, before you know it, a few years goes by and everyone looks back and say, man, BK Racing just made the chase, or BK Racing, they just won their second race of the year. And so it's something that is not an overnight thing.
All right, it's all up to you now, okay? Oh, I know. Relax, let this thing come to you. All right, give them a good run. If you look at where we are today, we feel like we've got a good run at it. Where we want to be tomorrow is we want to be one of those competitive teams that's respected, and if we get the right personnel and we get the right setup with Toyotas, then I think we'll be in good shape for the future. That's where we're headed.
Driven, BK Racing, Slaying the Giant, is presented by your local Toyota dealers. The new 2016 Toyota Tundra. It's rugged, refined, and unrivaled. You're watching Driven, BK Racing, Slaying the Giant. Presented by your local Toyota dealers.
I don't know that you can get a finer charactered person or an individual than David Ragan.
We're looking at several drivers in the off-season, and we've kind of been focused on David Ragan for quite some time.
It was important for me to be on a team that had one of the charters, that was going to put forth the best effort every week, and a team that I could go and try to make a difference at.
With David, he's mature. He's done this for a real long time. He grew up in it. His dad raced, does his job. He's part of the process. He's part of making BK Racing better.
We were good in the race. I mean, we were better on the really long runs. On the spring, we finished 4th or 5th.
We finished 5th.
Car, and it was really good. It was just good on the long runs.
And some of the things that Dave has experienced with the luxuries of being with the Roush's and the Joe Gibbs and the Michael Waltrips of past, you know, people are sponges. We all take in what we're around. We're the sponges now, and we're taking their knowledge of their past and trying to wrap it into BK Racing.
When I won at Roush Fenway Racing, it was a big deal, but it was expected. They pat you on the back and say, nice job, that's what you should have done. Now let's go win again.
Edwards high, Ragan comes up, caught on the spot.
Gilliland's got it, he's got it!
Front row racing is going to victory lane at Talladega. Ragan first, Gilliland second. How about that?
When we won at Front Row Motorsports, it was a different feel. It was a genuine, happy moment for everyone. We were all excited. You only win your first race for the first time, and that was the first event that Front Row Motorsports had won in any of the NASCAR series, and so it made it a really good team win.
And he brings in leadership, he brings in experience, and he understands where our team is. And he's been at big teams, he's been at small teams. He knows what the goals are of our team and how to achieve them.
Now he's attractive to us because he also knows the Toyota fleet. He drove for the Waltrip cars. He brings that knowledge too, but he's also just a great charactered person. He's very marketable and very personable, so he brings coverage to our company.
Ragan's past success in NASCAR and his personality off the track give BK Racing a strong anchor. And occupying the second full-time seat for the team is an up-and-coming driver who has shown some early promise.
Matt DiBenedetto was a rookie with us last year. This is his second year. To me, Matt has not plateaued yet.
At BK Racing, you know, going from our team owner Ron Devine to my crew chief, Gene Need, to everyone at the team, I know that they have my back. I know that they support me 100%.
Really probably doesn't care if he got paid. He would drive for free. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's great that he's making a living. Them people are the guys you want driving your race car because they're going to race their ass off no matter what. Matt is that guy.
Our drivers are the perfect complement to each other. David's able to guide Matt and teach him from his experiences and kind of help progress him along.
He can ask some questions that makes me think a little bit more in depth, and he can certainly challenge me. And so I've had a lot of fun getting to know Matt, and I think our teams work well together.
Competing at racing's highest level is a daunting task, but BK Racing continues to produce better results at the track. To achieve the ultimate success in NASCAR comes at a cost, a price paid with time and commitment, and in dollars and cents.
And that's what he could use for sponsorship. That would be for the 83 car. We'll talk about the All-Star race then, the 29th.
You know, obviously it takes funding to get the resources that we need to compete at this level. Yet you also need the successes on the racetrack to drive the demand from the marketing side of it as well. So, you know, our vision is to see both of them complement, each sides of the business complement each other and grow with each other.
You know, when you say what is success today, making sure we deliver a quality for our sponsors, we have to show them that, you know, investing in us makes sense. I think both of our drivers are very marketable.
We're always searching for a new driver to come along that has a lot of personality, and Matt has that. I think he's got a lot of new fans.
We've got really two good guys driving, who the sponsors like, the sponsors who have been on our race cars have been there a long time. You know, Dr. Pepper's been around a long time. They like David Ragan. Cosmo Motors and Dustin's Blasting like Matt DiBenedetto.
It's a total package. You can't have a good partner, good relationships with your manufacturer and sponsors without having a good race car, but you can't have a good race car without having those things off the track.
Mike, we got the Schluter family with us. Get in here, Mike. Come on.
You know, I think that the more we can build on our partnerships and sponsorships, that's only a snowball. It'll continue to get larger over the years.
Aside from the car being fast, the second most important thing at the racetrack every weekend is pit crew.
The pit crew come race day, they're as important as the tires that are on the car, the motor that's on the car. Without them, we can't compete.
A lot of people have called it control chaos over the years, and that's just what it is. There's a lot of work that goes into it that makes it look like it just flows.
2383 on this car, 93 on that car. We're going to start out with some drills.
Jason Gay, he came on right before the season started last year.
Double adjustment, right side, left side. Chase, put the tire on this time.
When the opportunity presented itself, I thought, well, you know, let's try it. Let's see. So I used last year as a year to put together everything that I'd learned over the years.
That was moving.
And as the year went on, he kept piecing it together and they kept working together. It got better.
All right, let's swap the bottle out, the front bottle out, and then the 23 go.
We started the year last year and we were about 14-second pit crews. And by the end of the year, we had gotten ourselves down in the 13-second range. And this year, we're sitting in the 12s. We've progressively gotten better with personnel, with the drills that I got the guys doing, with just the fundamentals.
This is where you can practice your handoff too. Over here on these dry runs.
Our pit crews are tremendously better than they were a year ago. And everybody's done a great job to get them to that point.
Let them just get their normal indexes in.
They really want to go out there, they want to do well, they want to show people, hey, we are BK Racing and you're not going to walk on us, we're going to compete with you.
While the pit crew works hard all week to improve at the track, it's in the shop where the team continues to build a better car under the supervision of a former champion.
The turning of the steering wheel, we're going to do it out there while it's running. And then the track bar running it up and down. Those are the two things we got to do while it's running.
Doug Richard, who you all know is the first crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Sr., he was his crew chief for his first championship. Doug's been with me for 5 years, and he's a big part of BK Racing.
Let's work on getting tires on it, get it on the ground, and we'll get it rolled out. We'll get one of them going. We always say 90% of our success is done at the shop. I know he's messing with that pressure sensor right now, but I'd get your side ready to get it on the ground.
We're building that foundation. We've been able to get more talent now in the engineering department, also in the performance out there. Our crew chiefs are working well together.
Patrick and I get along really well. Everybody gets along really well. And we can all work together, one common goal. And if you didn't have that right now, you would be in trouble.
Hey, did you make sure them things work, your adjusters?
Gene Need is he's a unique guy. He's been around a long time. and we have a great relationship. We work together really well.
I've been impressed with what Patrick's been able to do. He's got a history in the sport. He's been around for a long time.
We'll set the tire pressure to qualifying pressures, and we'll see where this ends up.
I see our cars being much better prepared now when they show up at the track. They show up ready to not only just get it around the track, but be able to race it.
Our goal is always like Monday when they come in to the shop, they've got the next weekend's car already ready for them to put their touches and tweaks.
The cars are done. We just got to do a little final setup, and then we can work on fine-tuning them.
With limited resources at their shop, it's the tools and technology offered by TRD that are taking the team to the next level.
TRD is essentially Toyota's U.S. motorsports engineering arm. We like to get our hands dirty. We like to participate, to have skin in the game, and work shoulder to shoulder with our team partners.
So let me have that shock. We'll change the eyelet on it.
They provide us access to all their equipment up there, stuff that we're able to go up there and simulate the track before we're on it and run tests on the car.
Going to TRD for us is like imperative. You know, like we don't have a lot of the tools that they do have.
The ABCS rig is probably one of our singular largest capital investments. What that tool allows us to do is to load the race car vertically, laterally, longitudinally, and look at how the car behaves under load.
Is there any data from the rear yet? Simulation is probably one of the most important things that race teams have now, because it allows you to run more laps than you actually get on the racetrack. The black was January, and your colors today.
Yeah.
We know without Toyota's help, we can't get where we want to ultimately be, and we also know we need to earn our way into that camp.
To have all the access to their capability has been really strong. That's what's going to take us forward.
Driven, BK Racing, Slaying the Giant, is presented by your local Toyota dealers. The new 2016 Toyota Tundra. It's rugged, refined, and unrivaled. You're watching Driven, BK Racing, Slaying the Giant. Presented by your local Toyota dealers.
We're all competitors, you know, we want to be the best that there is out there, and the guys that we're racing every weekend, they are professionals. They have all the resources at their disposal.
You guys did a really good job last week. Everybody did a good job. The one thing I think we do is we fight for the entire day. No matter where we're at, the driver stays after it, we stay after it, and we tend to make something of our day.
Anytime you're in competitive sport, and especially something that's this close and this narrow with a margin, it's hard to define success as you have to win to be successful, because there's only one per week. But you can conduct yourself in a manner that's successful every week.
Go get those guys in front of you. You're better than them. So you're saying there's a chance?
You know, it's the average running position. It's the best finishes. It's being able to make the second round of qualifying. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, but year over year, those are the types of things that we're seeing already with BK Racing. Those incremental performance improvements are meaningful.
The importance of small teams or developing teams is significant, because we look at that as our future.
What's interesting about BK Racing is that we are new and fresh and young, and we are scrappy. And I think that's one of the reasons to watch us, to see if, to see if we can pull it off.
The hard work and scrappiness became evident at one of the toughest tracks on the circuit, known as the Last Great Coliseum.
Hello again from Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee.
We don't want to be content. You know, we want to go out there and show, hey, we can compete.
A lot of unknowns and a lot of excitement ahead, and we're ready to race.
With what we've invested in the off season, we feel like we can be a contender now and start to expect to be there each week.
Castle and Bain fighting right behind him, then DiBenedetto and Newman.
The guy that runs in the top 5 and the top 10 every week, that guy can pull off a win.
A lot of great performances, including Matt DiBenedetto, who is on track to perhaps score his best career finish. Checkered flag in the air. Carl Edwards dominates Bristol. Matt DiBenedetto, sixth.
Incredible.
A 6th place finish at Bristol, which arguably is one of the highlights of the year across the board. That's a big day for us. It's a huge day for Ron Devine and BK Racing.
They finished 6th. Man, that's unbelievable. I mean, that's probably tougher than what we did. So that's a real testament to them.
Everybody understands the mountain that we're faced and the obstacles that are challenges that we face every week.
A huge finish for this small team. Your thoughts?
I'm sorry, I'm so speechless. I'm so thankful to everybody on this team, everybody at BK Racing.
It's not so much a focus on 6th place as it is showing the rest of the community, the rest of the world that you're here. You've arrived at NASCAR.
These guys, man, that's unbelievable for a team like us to be growing this much, and for us to get a 6th place run. I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. It's just, this is like a win for us.
A win for BK Racing, and I mean a win as you're standing in victory lane, is just the next progression of what needs to happen. And we're really close. Well, we could win a race this year.
You know, the winning part is fun. You know, at the same time, it's a challenge to be able to run good against the people. It's a David and Goliath story. So you feel like when you run better, I mean, you really had slayed Goliath, man. It's a tough deal.
To be able to create something from where we're at, to be competitive with the monsters of the sport that have a lot more technology than we do, we're driven to go beat those guys with what we've got. Beat them every week with what we've got, and then there's some satisfaction with that.
When we make it to victory lane, I want everybody there. I don't care what team you're on. We're gonna run out of hats in victory lane, okay? So I want the whole company to be there, because it's really a company that performs. And so what role you're at and which team you're on almost really doesn't matter. And it certainly doesn't matter to me. It'll just be so special. I don't know I'll be able to think of the words for it, but I'll spend a lot of time in victory lane when we get there. Come by and see me, I'll be there.